The blues is a type of folk music created by Africans in the early 20th century, and by the 1960s became one of the most important influences on popular music today, such as jazz, rhythm and blues, soul music, and even rock music. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, blues songs are lyrical rather than narrative. Blues singers are expressing feelings rather than telling stories. The emotion expressed is generally one of sadness or melancholy, often due to problems in love. The blues also features rhythmic techniques such as syncopation, displacement of regular accent beats, and vocal techniques such as melisma, sustaining a single syllable across several pitches. During the triangular trade, goods were brought from Europe to West Africa in exchange for slaves. After a brutal one-month-long journey, the slaves were then brought to the United States in exchange for money and goods. In the 1700s, demand for slave labor spiked because of the growth of sugar and tobacco plantations in the Caribbean. According to earlyblues.com, on arrival in Virginia, tribes and even families were split up. Communicating instruments such as drums and horns were banned. Despite this, slaves' nature, customs, language, dress, and particularly their songs lived on. Songs would be sung at their work to help them make the days go by. The rural blues developed in Georgia, the Carolinas, Texas, and Mississippi. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, the blues of Georgia and the Carolinas is noted for its clarity of enunciation and regularity of rhythm. Influenced by ragtime and white folk music, it is more melodic than Texas and Mississippi styles. Blind Willie McTell and Blind Boy Fuller were representative of this style. The Texas blues is characterized by high, clear singing, accompanied by supple guitar lines that consist typically of single-string picked arpeggios rather than strummed chords. The first blues recordings, such as W.C. Handy's Memphis Blues, took place in the 1910s through the 1920s. It became very popular across the southern United States. During the Great Depression in the 1930s, many blacks left the southern United States in search for work. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, the blues became adapted to the more sophisticated urban environment. Lyrics took up urban themes, and blues ensemble developed as the solo bluesman was joined by a pianist or harmonica player, and then by a rhythm section consisting of bass and drums. Chicago played a big role in the development of the urban blues. In the 1920s and 30s, Memphis Minnie, Tampa Red, Big Bill Bronzy, and John Lee, Sonny Boy Williamson were popular Chicago performers.
My baby takes my blues away, takes them away all night long.
Robert Johnson was considered one of the greatest blues musicians of his time. Legend says that one day Johnson met the devil on the crossroads, and the devil told Johnson that he could make him an amazing blues musician in exchange for his soul. He wasn't a good guitar player and was very poor, so he agreed to sell his soul. A year later, he wrote a piece called Devil at the Crossroads that became wildly popular. Some other popular music he wrote were I Believe I'll Dust My Broom and Sweet Home Chicago. His music gained popularity, and Johnson became known for his incredible skills. Only 27, Johnson died on August 16, 1938, as the suspected victim of a deliberate poisoning. However, according to legend, the devil killed him. According to Encyclopedia Britannica, the blues have influenced many other musical styles. Blues and jazz are closely related. Such seminal jazzmen as Jelly Roll Morton and Louis Armstrong employed blues elements in their music. Soul music and rhythm and blues also show obvious blues tonalities and forms. The blues have had their greatest influence on rock music. Early rock singers such as Elvis Presley often used blues material. British rock musicians in the 1960s, especially the Rolling Stones, Eric Clapton, and John Mayall, were strongly influenced by the blues. as were such American rock musicians as Mike Bloomfield, Paul Butterfield, and the Allman Brothers Band.
My baby says she love me all night long. My baby says she love me